Committee for Refugees, and they took me back on a journey in 1999, and that was really touching because I just didn't think I would go back, but I couldn't even go into the country because the civil war was still going on. So I ended up going to the neighboring country, Kenya, and then we took a small charter, then we drove, and finally I ended up in my mother's hometown, which is not a town, it's a village. And that was really touching, and that's where I came across U.S. Committee for Refugees. I was like, who are this incredible group of medical team that come out of these dangerous, very dangerous situations just to help another fellow human being? That really touched me. And that's when I realized, you know, together we can really make a difference. And going back really made me realize that it wasn't getting any better. Yeah, it was, you know, a good thing to feed back and kind of like not get lost in the mix, you know, and not believe in this whole hype of like, oh, I'm a supermodel and all of this. Those are just words. At the end, you have to be the superwoman that you are and doing the best that you can. So it's not really defined by pictures and that's it. I mean, we can, you know, enjoy them just like anything else that you see, but that's not what we should be feeling. Now, moving on, because I think after a while they're going to start saying wrap up, so I'm not going to talk too much. When it comes to wisdom, compassion, and power, nothing affords you, more compassion for a fellow human being. Having personally lived through the same experience, I've been a refugee in a war-torn country. I've had to, without eating and surviving on a cup of water a day and just a few fruits, I've had to crouch down in a corner in a dark and hole and breathe while soldiers were, you know, kind of with machine guns passing by our house, and hope that they didn't pass by again and did something really, you know, tragic, which always took place. Soldiers who needed only a flimsy, you know, reason of just sometimes even no reason at all, but to just shoot just because they decided to do so. Compassion, you don't develop from watching people on television, that's for sure. Because I've lived it. It's how can I say? It's deep. It's deep. It's deeper. It's deeper. It's not something that you just, you know, watch a movie and you're like, oh, that's really amazing. It's something that's really profound, I find. So I take that, being lucky enough just to have an opportunity to do what I do, which, you know, I've been lucky, but also I truly believe that the best thing that the industry has given me is something that not even so many girls are lucky enough to, and I found myself very blessed. I always say the best thing that fashion has given me is not all the beautiful clothes and, you know, the makeup and the famous people you get to, you know, work with. That's how I see it. If they happen to be famous and they're friends, then great. But it truly is the voice, and I believe there's a reason why, and we should do something with it. So I started to work for AIDS awareness, which I think, you know, not think, but for sure, we all can identify. It's really destroyed, and a lot of families around the world. It has no color, and if we can really join hands and put our heads together, I think it will bring us a step closer to, if not cure, but at least not the devastation that it does to many, many communities and families and so forth. I started working to educate kids because, okay, I'm looking at wrap up, so I'm going to be like, you know, working to educate kids. I'm going to be really, really quick. It's basically, I think as a teenage, again, you know, when we're young, and if we can embed things in us, we can grow to be, you know, to be strong women and wiser, so that we could pass it down. Because for us to be here today sitting, it took strong women, it took wisdom, it took compassion, it took all of those things in one. And it's not because of our differences, but if we could celebrate that, we can really be looking forward to a better future and much more healthy, and our young generation can really not be left out because we came a long way. And that's it, really. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and God bless.
And I have some questions for you, and I know they do too, and some of them are light, and some of them are a little bit more serious, but thank you. The thing that as I'm listening to you and as a mother, the first question I have is, what does your mother think of you now?
She's just like, 4 days, where are you? Why didn't you call me?
Normal.
I am cold. Drink orange juice. Are you not drinking your vitamins? So that's really what she thinks. But I'm sure she's proud of all of us, 9 of us. I mean, when she talks, she's just like, it's wonderful what Aqual is doing and what Etienne is doing, what you're doing, Alek. But are you taking care of yourself? That's her first question.
That really is good to hear. A little bit of a serious question. With all that's going on in the world today, with the Middle East wars, with the continued strife in South Africa, and hunger and disease, if you could change one thing and know that it would stick, that it would stay changed, what would you change?
If I could change one thing, I truly believe that, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. If a child is doing something, you can't just turn your back and say, look at that child, how naughty. You have the opportunity to be that person, that protector as an adult. And I truly believe that it definitely takes a nation to come together to make a difference. So that's why I've always said, my voice is not, the biggest of all, but 1 + 2 + 3, it becomes a crowd, it becomes a very strong voice. So I would say that if we really come together and address the most important issues, it will bring peace a little bit closer to the countries with conflict. Even in Sudan and Darfur and Chad is not the most pleasant place right now in terms of just the conflict that's going on, even though there's a peace agreement. But I believe that if we speak out, and there are, different personalities, and also any individuals, like we have a lot of huge voice. I mean, it takes the nation to elect, president. It's not. So
right.
I think we have a responsibility. If we truly come together, we'll bring it closer to some peace for so many families around the world that are going through trouble.
I have a question for you. You mentioned Michelle Obama, and especially from your position, your experience in the world of fashion, we in this country, for the first time in our history, have elected a black first family that includes a lovely first lady. If Michelle Obama called you today, there's been a lot written in the media about her sense of style, whether you agree with it or not. And sometimes the media you spoke about it too, the media cannot be kind. If she called you today and said, I would like to have you come and give me some advice about fashion, what would you tell her?
I don't think she needs any help in that
area. Perfect. Perfect. Alek, is there anything that keeps you awake at night that you worry about?
Things that are very close to me, like if I'm going, like what gives me strength and go out there, it's, it's my loved ones. I always say it's the team. Even though it's work, but it's still a part of our life. So you need to be in a healthy place. And like my mom was saying, my dad especially, you disagree to agree. It's not about your way or the highway. There has to be a solution. There has to be a way. And sometimes working yourself out over something, it doesn't really resolve much. And
I started to think so more when I'm older. When I was younger, my mom used to whip me a lot because I did not want to listen. I'm glad she did whoop my behind because I don't know where I would have ended knowing myself. But I would say, just the people that I care about, and just making sure every year brings peace and living out throughout those times. But that's really it. But I try and go to bed with not an ill feeling, because then you may have really horrible dreams.
That's true. What makes you laugh out loud?
The simplest things, like you could see, I'm always cracking up. I don't know, I think laughter, you should just allow it, and it's so healthy for you. I mean, it just gives you these tingly feelings, and a little kid can make me smile. To just see, like my little niece, for example, she really knows what buttons to push. The more you say no, the more they want to do something. So they can drive you crazy, but if you really think about it, if you just sit back and you kind of ignore them, they're like, you're not paying attention to me, so I guess I'm going to go and do something else. And she's turning this gas thing, and I'm like, listen, Ayan, you can't do that. And she's like 18 months at the time, and she just looked at me, and this is like a kid, but they know what they're doing, and she's like screaming when I'm like, no, don't do that. So finally I'm like, you know what, that's what you're gonna do? Guess what, that's what I'm gonna do. And then they realize, who's the boss? And it was really, really cute just to watch that. But simplest things can really make me crack up. Yeah.
Good.